everybody? Welcome to Mystics MMOs. I'm your host, Mystic Raven. Alright, so MSQ, or extended in this case. So I've been trying to get the rest of my dungeons between everything else that I'm doing. Some of the things done to get prepped up and ready for Shadowbringers when it releases in July. I'll have early access because I did do the pre-order, so it is kind of a nice thing. So for many of you who have already pre-ordered, we will have that nice 5-day jump start on the content, the new extended MSQ, and we will also get early access to the new jobs. One of them we are aware that is the Gunblade. Now there is speculation and rumor that there is another job associated with Shadowbringers. And I hope there is. I really do. I think that would be really cool. You know, there's a lot, to be honest. There's a lot of content. And this, and then on top of it, they're saying that Shadowbringers is supposed to be the largest expansion to date for Final Fantasy XIV. Yes, 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 yes. So we're going to get all that nice stuff. I'm really looking forward to the simple fact that we are, like, I've been PvPing a lot lately on my machinist, and I've been getting down. The PvP in this game is not bad. It isn't. I noticed during the evenings, you get more peak time, so the queue time in certain matches, you can get about a 10-minute queue time on the average, 10 to 11 minutes. It's not bad at all. Which is kind of whatever. I mean, I know a lot of people want, you know, a little bit more faster queue time associated. And I feel like the PvPs here, a couple minor things. I mean, the most minor things, man, could make this like the most. I mean, I could see this going in esports. I could, like, honestly, like, I could see this having an esports following if it's adjusted correctly. There could be a couple of, like, you know, pre-made teams, some epic battles going on. Just, there's a lot to the PvP. They put quite a bit in there. So I always skip the text stuff. If you want to follow up on it, you can. So then I usually do this while I'm waiting for queue resets. Now I will watch these parts.
I had her brought here in secret while the three of you kept our guest company.
I want to say this character is in another Square Enix game. I'm more than aware of it.
The world has not been kind to you, it is true. But that does not excuse your sins. You should be at the bottom of the river. Yet here you are, the living, breathing proof of my failure. A failure for which I would now make amends.
What did I do? I don't remember. Was it really so terrible? Tell me, please. What did I do?
You speak of sins, my lord. But at whose feet do those sins lie?
Oof.
With the soldiers who committed the crimes, or those who commanded them to do so? With both, I would say. For all have a conscience, and all must choose. But with no memory of who she is, or what she has done, what sin remains to be cleansed?
You ask that I show mercy.
I ask why the heavens saw fit to deny me my rest. Why Yotsuyu was spared not only death, but the bitter memories of her life.
You truly think it the will of the Kami? If so, her life is not mine to take. It is yours to safeguard.
Really good acting.
Come the hour of the exchange, if her memories have not returned, she may remain here in Doma to live out her days as Tsuyu. But if they do, the Garleans shall have their viceroy. Though the people will protest, they will come to accept my decision when they have been reunited with their loved ones.
Thank you, my lord.
Amazing.
Now then, I believe we have kept our guest waiting long enough.
There's the twins.
Did Gosetsu not seem strange to you? His sympathy for Yotsuyu apart, I mean. I know his powers of endurance only too well, but after all he has suffered, even he should not be on his feet. He puts on a brave face for our sakes, but it would not surprise me if he lacked the strength to raise his blade. Though I suppose if he and Yotsuyu are to enjoy a life of peace and quiet, he will have little use for it. It falls to us to shape that future, one in which he need never again set foot on the battlefield.
I'm gonna have to do the research. I thought this was the same character in one of the other RPGs I played from Square Enix, and I'll have to find out. But it's been such a long time.
My apologies. Our deliberations took longer than expected.
Think nothing of it. The time afforded me the opportunity to go on a rather rousing excursion through Yansha. You have reached a decision, then?
We are willing to cooperate with you in combating the Icon threat, and also in the exchange of prisoners. Assuming you accept our conditions, of course. As you know, your sister is in our care. Due to certain complications, however, we are hesitant to release her into your custody.
Complications?
She was inside Doma Castle when it collapsed. Though she survived, she remembers nothing of her past life, not even her name. To clarify, she is in our care not as a prisoner, but as a vulnerable citizen of Doma.
Are you saying you refuse to release her?
Not at all. If her memory returns before the appointed hour.
And if not, what exactly? You will accommodate her here in Doma?
Well, I sincerely doubt she will be of any great strategic value to the Empire. She spends her days daydreaming of Dango.
Dango? How dreadful. Very well. In light of our recent misstep in Sakazuki, it seems only fair that I show you the same understanding you have shown us. Though I do have one small request. Regardless of Yotsuyu's value to the Empire, she is yet my sister. Before I leave, might you permit me to speak with her in private?
Of course. Perhaps you could even bring her a plate of dango. She would be most pleased. Yugiri will see you to her chambers.
Is it a ruse? Is it a ruse? Well, that was interesting. Ran the vault last night and got all emotional. It's been so long time since a game kicked me in the feels. Right, dude, right, oh, dude, honestly, like, there's times like I really like. There's parts of the game like I feel like are so long and drawn out. But then all of a sudden you get to those points and those moments and you're just like, wow. You're just, I feel like there is, for the community of this game, the emotional connection, right? The, you know, how they're building up with the characters and the story. And some of the twists and turns that you kind of go through. Some of them I wish were a little bit more, like, sustained, right? There's a couple moments, and I'm not going to give any spoilers, but there's a couple moments you feel it, like it's relevant, it has purpose, it has, and then there's other parts you're like, oh shit.
I wish you a safe journey.
This has been a most enjoyable visit. I look forward to our next meeting. Maxima, would you take the others and see that all is ready for our departure? I simply cannot leave without first giving thanks to the Warrior of Light for accompanying me through Yansha. Mark me, savior of the savages. There will be a reckoning.
Oh, shit. What? What?
You've nowhere left to run, traitor!
Ignorant savages! Killing us will avail you naught. For every Imperial you cut down, 1,000 more will come. Abandon this foolish endeavor and surrender. You may yet serve our righteous cause.
How dare you speak of righteousness? You who forsook kith and kin to serve conquerors! Be glad I grant you this mercy. What in the...
Oh, shit.
Reinforcements? No, just one! Cut him down!
Gunblade.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
This one is promising. Who remains to offer us resistance?
A host of rebels led by Lord Cayenne hold the Enclave across the river.
Lord Cayenne.
The king of the former king of Dorma, sir. They say he is one of the greatest swordsmen alive.
Is that what they say?
Who was that?
Surely you jest. That was Zenos Galvus, legatus of the 12th, the Crown Bloody Prince. I heard he was strong, but that was frightening.
That was Lord Zenos. Everything you are, your power, even your face, it vexes me. Go on. Lash out like the beast you are at an emissary and jeopardize the newfound peace between Dorma and the Empire. My lord was destined to lead us unto a glorious new age. Your light is nothing to his radiance. I will cherish this moment, lock it away within my heart, until the day we meet again.
Or I'll string you up and choke you. I don't think you're vexed. I think you're perplexed. Don't.
You look troubled, my friend. Was it something he said?
Of all the memories to witness.
I had my doubts about him, but I would never have guessed he was a disciple of Zenos. My lord.
Calm yourself, Eugidi. I set no store by him or his enlightened brethren. But if by treating with them there is even the faintest hope, we might secure the return of our conscripted brothers and sisters, I must play this game. After the way I risked their lives in the rebellion, I owe them that much.
My lord, you bear no blame for their fate.
If not blame, then responsibility. They were prisoners, and still I chose to fight, knowing they could be executed in retaliation. But now we have a chance to bring them home. If it means bargaining with a monster, so be.
My lord.
Besides, I think he likes me, which is more than some can say.
Okay. Sometimes the MSQ is a little more than drawn out, unfortunately. But it's how you unlock content. I like the story, especially that last one, that little kid. It gets good. I think that's why so many players are willing to pay for this game. And let me talk about that. Typically when you go to a subscription-based model, right, there is a lot of things that have to be done very carefully. And I mean very carefully. Because if you screw up a subscription-based model, you're pretty much toasting everything, and you're playing catch up the rest of the time the game's in existence, right? Meaning you're trying to recuperate the initial investment, you're trying to make a profit to pay the employees, and you're trying to gain a little bit of substantial return for the people who have invested into the product. So there is opportunity within a subscription-based model to present itself. However, players are very, very reluctant to buy the game at suggested, at the suggested the market value, whatever the value may be. So a lot of people will have to buy the game and then pay a monthly sub. So it's like, why do I want to do that, right? There's a lot of games out there where I can play online for free when I purchase it, or I can have, the options of this or that. And it's, what are they getting for their value? It comes down to that question. What are you getting by paying the monthly sub? Just online access? It's not enough these days, because every game has online capability. Even your looter shooters, which are typically not considered an MMO, has online capability. So with that being said, why does a player feel like it's worth paying the additional $10, $15 a month? Why? Well, it comes back down to the quality and the continued service of what's being presented. So for Square Enix, they actually release in their patches updates to continue the product. So we see this in the MSQ within the storyline, right? The story expands, it's a continuation. And then we also see it in development for content as far as raids and so on and so forth. And that's why players would continue to pay for a product like this. If you don't have these type of services in place, and you don't have, now, let's say a game launches under terrible conditions, right? The first thing usually is what we see is companies do what? Downsize, right? That's one of the worst mistakes they can do. They're basically cutting their throats at that point. They're basically throwing in the towel, recuperating. It's not healthy for the game itself, and the community is already aware of that. So you're putting yourself at even a further jeopardy by basically saying we're going to come out with incremental or very limited content. And that's unfortunate, because now you have a skeleton crew just keeping the game alive. It's on life support. And there are a couple games out there that have a lot of really good content, but have piss poor marketing and not enough staff to really do the game service, because it actually is a good game. It's just being ran poorly because it had a rough launch. Square Enix, instead of throwing in a towel, they dedicated more resources to it because they knew the value of what they were investing in. And it's come to fruition. Why? Because they knew we need to put more into it. We launched it in an early state. We shouldn't have done that. Bad. Don't do that again. And because of that, now, who's the king? Who's the king? Who is the king now? Who's wearing the crown? The one who cares for his people. Or even she or he. The person who takes care of their people will get the people's respect and is deserving to lead them. Right? I'm telling you, man. At the end of the day, yes, it's business, but it's business done carefully. You have to conduct business in this industry. In this industry, you better conduct, but you don't get too many redos. Square Enix was fortunate. They were fortunate, but they did it the right way. They did do it the right way. And because they went back in, they owned up to their mistakes. Not only owned up to their mistakes, made it right for the people who bought the game initially. They made it right with them. And then, because at one time this game was free to play. Okay, so it was a couple years ago. If you had originally bought the game in its piss poor state, you were literally playing. It was a buy to play at that point. They had initial subs, but it was going terrible. They made it right. They said, okay, hey, we're going to do it free until we can redo this. They took it out. They was working on a new engine, relaunched it, kept the initial player base, said, hey, you don't have to rebuy this, la la la. We got this taken care of. We're going to launch it in A Realm Reborn, and the rest is history.
Pleased to you. I'm not so frail that I cannot feed myself. I grow weary of the taste of gruel.
You don't like it? Can I fetch you something else?
Aye, wine. Or if that is not wholesome enough, I don't know. A sweet persimmon from Namai? I enjoyed them in my youth.
A persimmon?
Nay, pay me no mind. I am full. Besides, we have guests.
I hope we are not interrupting your meal. We had heard you were confined to bed and thought you might welcome some visitors.
Confined to... a gross exaggeration. A trifle drained from my exertions, perhaps, but with a little rest, I shall be fighting fit again in no time.
Take off your clothes.
Gosetsu, is this how you've been spending your time?
Oh my god.
My lady, I assure you this is not.
Off with them. We need to wash you. You stink. What are all these scars? There are so many of them.
A life of battle will leave its mark upon a man.
Oh shit, she has the echo.
Is something wrong, Tsuyu?
It's nothing. I'm fine.
But leave me be, woman. I will not be fussed over like some newborn babe.
Alright. That was a good scene. Lot of like just story gapping in some of these extended you know, you'll unlock some dungeons, you'll do a couple duties, but a lot of the time you're going to find yourself, you know, filling in the lore and the stories. At this point I get no XP for doing this because you have to be level 70 and it's a, you know, level 70 turn in, or level 70 is cap. So was definitely, I feel like in this product I get my money's worth for sure. And that's something that I feel there are a lot of games out there that are good, and I have no regrets or no complaints about putting the investment in some of those products because I got what I paid for. There's a lot of games out there that I can honestly say that. And there's certain games out there where I wanted to support it because I liked the conception of the product. So I don't want players to ever feel like just because something's not well polished, it isn't worth investing, because it could be a great game. Like DC, I love DCUO. Me and SOE, we had our little parting. They took one of my most beloved games of all time. Now, keep in mind, I was always a premium member because I supported the company, and the company did, you know, they always were, up until one point, I had nothing but whatever with the devs and the community of any SOE product. Of course, then things went bad, and you know, it's to be anticipated. But I supported it even after the fallout with, you know, I did get a little pissed about the way it did. And this is what one thing I did learn. Like, it's not the men and women's faults for executive decision. It's not the people who work for the company. If the company is refusing to listen to the developers and try to make something better for their community, it really is not their fault. You know, some of these executive decisions, what you're told, you're an employee. Well, you do what you're told. And with that being said, you know, I honestly did go back and I played DC, and I loved every minute of the DC game. I really did. DCUO was definitely a very well polished product. It performed really well. It had a rough start at launch once again. Not to anything on their end. It was just, you know, unfortunate timing for the PlayStation and Sony at that time. Now, after everything had taken, you know, its toll, and you could see the piss poor management by, you know, the executives at the company. And now you see Daybreak Games, you know, exchanging hands with their products. You would hope that some things would have changed, but then you have companies that are just going to, you know, keep it what it is and try to milk it for what they can. They got a good purchase price. They're like, hey, you know, we can, you know, make a couple million by, you know, an extra $1 million for what we purchased, you know, and now we can extend our product by getting rid of the licensing agreement with Sony. And now, unfortunately, you know, like they still have good products. Like the products could still be good, but you know, the lack of marketing and the lack of attention is present, right? It's being neglected. It's what it's being. And anytime you neglect something, well, it's never a good thing. You've got to teach, like Blizzard up until Activision recently, it's got one of the worst graphics. It's one of the most dated graphics ever. It was intentionally launched with piss poor graphics so it would run on multiple systems. And even with the most cartooniest, even junkiest graphics, the game held millions of players in heart. Why? Because it was the quality of the content that made the game renowned, not the graphics. You had quality, you had service, and you had performance, right? All of these things, you know, definitely made the consumer happy with their purchase and with their game time. You know, so a lot of people don't have regrets when it comes to that experience, to have that their childhood or their teenage years or their adult years, you know, experience and wrapped up in World of Warcraft. Some of the things, though, I would associate now is when companies, once again, neglect or stop listening to their consumers.
Might I have one of your... Wait! Please! I only wanted a persimmon.
Kami, save us! A spirit has returned!
She's back from the dead to seek her revenge!
Yeah, this definitely cannot be good.
It can't be. She couldn't have some...
What did I do?
As if you don't know!
She doesn't.
Good people of Namai, be at ease, I pray you. You have naught to fear.
My lord, forgive me, but what is that monster doing here? They told us she was dead.
I too was surprised to learn of her survival. More even than you, I would hazard. 'Twas I who cut her down, I who left her to her fate. But it would seem the Kami had other plans. By some miracle, both she and Gosetsu were spared when the keep collapsed, though Yotsugu's preservation came at the cost of her memory.
You're saying she's forgotten? Forgotten everything she's done?
Lies! Lies, my lord! She would say anything to escape punishment!
What does it matter? We have not forgotten her crimes, and we demand justice! I beg of you, Lord Hien, draw your blade and rid us of this canker!
What I saw then, it's all true. I'm sorry. I'm so...
You're sorry? And what? We're supposed to forgive you?
Here, there's no need to cry.
One second, I gotta take this.
Can't you see how scared she is? How can you be scared of her?
Until such time as her memories return, this woman shall be known as Tsuyu, and treated as a citizen of Doma.
Okay, and real life calls.
I will, however, see that she is watched at all times. Rest assured that there will be no more unannounced visits to the village. As your lord, I ask that you leave her fate in my hands and suffer her to live, for now.
Please, Issei.
All right. I'll keep my peace. As long as you're happy, that's all that matters.
All right. All right. With that being said, I'm going to end the stream. Just a little bit extension to go. I think I got like 25, 30 more quests on the extension. I think I got left somewhere around there. But no, it's really good because, like I said, what they do is they keep updating the story to prepare you for what's to come. Well written, very good voice actors, amazing cutscenes. Sometimes, in my opinion, like I said, a little drawn out for a player like me, but it does make the content reflected when you unlock your dungeons and your raids, and everything in this game has its own initial story to it. It's not like you're playing only the main storyline. There is a main storyline associated, but then there's other, even the jobs and training jobs, as far as like your combatant, have storylines associated. There are side chain quests that have a little extra lore woven in, which makes it really appealing. And I can see why, once again, the community feels they are getting their money's worth, and why this model continues to work for Square Enix, because they're providing quality service. They understand the #1 rule in a company. What we're getting in return is only as good as what we're giving. So if we want to receive more return, we have to be willing to invest. We have to be able to willing to put the passion, the quality, and give them the service they deserve in order to reap the return and the potential return. That's the mentality you need to have. If you're out to make a quick buck or rush a product, or not kept up with the product's development in stages, then you don't need to be in this industry as an investor or a board member or even an executive. Gamers who are built by the games that are built by the gamers and the quality that they want to provide for the consumer reflects the product. So once again, I'm going to say this. The video game industry isn't dying. It's the companies that are making piss poor decisions that are dying. There's money to be made, and even last year, the gaming industry toppled the movie industry by double. By double. There's money to be made. But the question of it is, how are you handling your business? And what are you willing to offer the people who are wanting to experience your product? It's just like a movie, right? How many times have you were hyped up about a movie, you bought the ticket, you went, you saw it, it was garbage. All of a sudden, what's the first thing you tell people? Don't go watch that movie in the theater. Wait till it comes out on video if you're going to watch it. Was not worth this much. That affects the sales point. At the end of the day, it's going to affect the sales points. All right. Sylvia, what's up? About to take on the Sky Whale. Nice. Yeah, I'm about to cut the stream. I got to go get my daughter. But I hope you're having a good one. Get a hold of me, Sylvia. Message me up. Hit me up. So, yeah. So, once again, I don't know. Take it for what it's worth. But it's the quality of a product, right? It's the quality. And now it's the consensus. This is the king. This is holding the crown. And why? Because it deserves it. It deserves it. ZeniMax, I love you. I love you as much as I hate you too. But you're fucking up. You keep fucking up. You can't afford to be greedy when you're going to lose. When you're starting to lose money is when you need to invest more money. Why? Because like my grandfather said, if it ain't stocked, it ain't bought. If it's not stocked, it ain't bought. There you guys have it. I'll leave you guys on that note. Once again, I'm Mr. Craven. This is Mystics MMOs. And as always, guys, thank you. Have a nice day.